What's up, everybody? I've been getting a few requests lately asking about what sort of things I bring along with my gear and what gear I use, and so I thought I'd make a few videos like this to walk you through some of the things that I always bring and things that I've learned the hard way that I should not forget to have in my camera bag as I go from shoot to shoot. Before I begin, I wanted to say a quick thank you to my friend Chris at St. Louis Contract Embroidery. I did some drone footage for him as a quick little favor. It took me 10 minutes a couple weeks ago, and he gave me two of these sweet hats that he embroidered with Boom's logo and a bag, which is in my car. But it's an awesome little bag and an awesome couple hats. So Chris, thank you very much. And if anybody needs contract embroidery, I'll put their website below. 5 things I always keep in my camera bag and almost always use, but when I need them and I don't have them, bad things can happen. Number 1 is water. Always bring a water bottle. I found that if you're doing a 3-4 hour shoot, it can be really difficult to find the time to either get a glass of water or a bottle of water from someone or find a drinking fountain. A lot of times it's just going so quickly, you can get dehydrated and then you work worse and you feel worse. And so I always bring a water bottle and I keep it in my bag so that as I'm switching lenses and stuff, I see it and I remember, because I have a tendency to get dehydrated. It's happened more than a few times, more times than it should have. So now I always keep a water bottle in my bag so that I can stay hydrated. Number 2, and I've used this way less often, but I always keep a first aid kit in my bag, because there's times you're working with tripods and sliders and jibs and cameras and stuff that you're filming, and you can cut yourself, you can nick yourself, you can pinch yourself, any number of little things, you can stumble, and if you're bleeding at all, not only is it gross and unsanitary to have that around the shoot, but also it can just slow you down because you've got to deal with stuff or you've got to go find someone who's got a Band-Aid. So I always keep a little first aid kit. This is an REI Day Hiker first aid kit, which has gauze and ointments and mostly just Band-Aids and things like that. So most little things, if I have a tiny little accident, I could patch it myself and be back up and running before anyone has really noticed. Not yet the cause of any of those injuries, I always keep a multi-tool. And this has pliers and a knife and a handful of other things in it, but most importantly, it has a flathead screwdriver, and I never put the screwdriver away. It is always stored in my bag like this, because my tripod plates that I mount onto the camera so that I can switch between my sliders, my jibs, my DJI Ronin, all those things have a screw head on them, and some of them have little things to help you twist, but you can never really get them sturdy enough to where I need them, and so I bring a screwdriver, and I just happen to have that screwdriver be a part of something that has a knife and pliers in case I ever have stuff that gets stuck, or if something I'm shooting, not even my own gear, but the subject of something I'm shooting happens to be misfunctioning in some way, malfunctioning in some way. The fact that I can do some little things without having to look too far, always keep it around. On the less utility side of things, but still just as important, I keep a Goal Zero Flip 20. I encourage you to keep any sort of portable battery pack with you. This one charges with USB. You can plug it into your phone charger, and this will charge my iPhone twice. It'll charge a GoPro 2 or 3 times. More than anything, if I'm off on a shoot, especially if I'm not somewhere that's industrialized where I can charge things, while I charge all my batteries, my phone can die. And it's important because a lot of times at the end of the day during sunset and golden hour, that's when we start flying the drone. And if my phone is dead or almost dead when it comes to drone time, we've got problems, because I use the DJI Mavic Pro for most of those shots, and the only screen I have is the screen on my phone that gets plugged into the controller. So if my phone's dead, we got bad drone problems. So I always keep this little guy in my bag so that just in case I can charge my phone on the move. I can even run the new Sony cameras. I can power the cameras off of this battery because they have a USB power source, so I can plug that right into here. And if all my Sony cameras die, if all my Sony batteries die, I can plug it right into this and run my Sony camera for another couple hours without having to break a sweat. So real handy thing. They're available on Amazon, but I just saw them over at Schiller's today. And the last thing in this quick little one, I keep a roll of painter's tape in my bag. And I know there's gaff tape, which is more expensive than painter's tape, and harder to find in St. Louis in my experience. But painter's tape isn't sturdy enough to really like hold down cables too well or anything like that. But what I like is I can rely on it to not leave a mark on anything I stick it on. So oftentimes I'm shooting on location at other people's facilities and I don't want to pull paint off their wall or off of anything. I've used this to hang up diffusion paper over lights. I've used it to hang sheets of poster board over ceiling lights before that are causing issues. I use it to put a line on the floor so that people know where to stand and they can stay in focus that way. It's really invaluable and it sucks to not have it. And then there's been 1 or 2 times where I'll blame someone else, but let's say like a microphone clip wasn't in my bag and it should have been to hold a microphone onto a stand. Having some tape, it's ugly, but it can make do where any sort of physical adapter maybe can't so well, and it's not permanent, but it's better than having nothing or having to hold your mic. You can tape it to the stand in a pinch and still get your audio. So always keep a roll of painter's tape in my bag, and I've been sad a couple times when I've forgotten it. That's it. Those are 5 little non-camera things that I keep in my bag. If you liked this video, comment below. I'm going to go through all my other stuff because people have asked about the new cameras since we switched to Sony, and they're asking about what other stuff on our GoPro, our drones, and what lenses and audio stuff we use too. So if you've got any specific questions, throw them in the comments below. Otherwise, see you later.